Subscribe now! I'm going too Cockney. I've lost the Birmingham. I've lost the Brummie.
Peaky Blinders.
By order of the Peaky Blinders.
Can I show you a band that I found?
Yeah, man.
This is weird as well because obviously we listen to bands. That's like the point. But I found a different band on TikTok.
I thought the point was for us to just talk absolute bollocks.
That's one of the points. There's a lot of points.
Like that's what you start a podcast for, right?
If I just quickly jump onto our TikTok, have you seen these guys come up? Maybe.
Hey baby, what's your name? I'm Pat, that's Kev, that's Norman Payne. Sweet love is a destination. Now come take a ride on a sexy train. Get naked with me. Let's.
A bit of a jump happened there, but yeah, they're the Northern Boys. Oh my god,
the Northern Boys.
What a mess. TikTok. I will say what is happening here is I'm using TikTok on a laptop and literally not a single person in China ever envisaged that happening.
What is it with that? Because it's the same with like Reddit.
What do you mean? Reddit on a laptop is great.
No, Reddit on your phone, right, is so user friendly. It's unreal. You're just scrolling, blah blah blah. I feel like you go into the desktop version of Reddit, it's a minefield.
That's insane. But that was the Northern Boys, little band.
I love it.
I thought Reddit on a desktop is fine. It's definitely not as bad as TikTok on a desktop. That is, no one was supposed to see this. I feel like I've got all the secrets here. It is a mess.
To be fair, what kind of monster uses a desktop for TikTok?
It's a great point. I also, the other TikTok I sent in, I don't know if I want to speak about it too much because we touched on the topic a couple weeks ago and YouTube obliterated our video.
Oh,
but so we won't say. We won't say.
About the old
it's
CG?
Colleen. Her name's Colleen.
Yeah, but
Her
with
name's
the
Colleen. Miranda sings.
the CG'er.
Yeah, she did some things that weren't great. Maybe they were great according to YouTube. I don't want to get in trouble.
Like
they love it, I think.
Yeah.
And then she had an apology video. Have you seen? She's.
Is there an apology of the apology?
No.
All right.
That was called the Toxic Gossip Train.
That's the name of the song.
Song is called.
What? Like she titled it that?
Well, yeah, because she's now copywritten it.
Because all the memes and stuff.
Yeah, so she's
like.
Have you seen the
one where someone has put her in guitar rock or whatever it is?
Yeah. I think I might have sent that to you like a week ago or 2 weeks ago.
It's pretty good. But she's claiming copyright on it.
Yeah, so now she's doing copyright strikes. She's getting revenue from people that are talking about the video. So it's just like this massive cash in.
Yeah. She is literally just a scumbag. Absolutely deplorable. People need to stop talking about her. Stop paying her attention.
Well, okay,
definitely don't stop making memes about her because she's making money.
Stop talking about her on a podcast.
Well, bleep her name.
Yeah, maybe.
Bleep her name.
Maybe.
Right, and then we haven't talked about it.
She needs to be irrelevant for sure.
Yeah,
I do agree with that.
Absolutely bottom of the barrel scum.
Should we roll an intro?
Yeah.
It's a podcast. Excited for this week. There's not a lot has happened. How are you anyway? How was your week?
It's alright. It's fine. I feel like we've been quite busy as a band recently.
Musically busy week.
Yeah.
We played 2 gigs. One. Well, I think we need to talk about a lot.
One was piss poor,
and one was the worst gig I've ever played. And I once turned up to like a scouts group in a field that was supposed to be the hundreds of scouts, and I turned up and it was like 8 children and a man dressed in a scouts uniform.
See, I know you haven't seen it yet, but literally you sound like you're describing like a plot from Spinal Tap.
Really? That's funny. So it'd be very relatable.
Spoiler alert.
And I'll hold my hands up and say, and I'm not proud of it, but I drove down the little lane to get there, and I saw a grown man in a Scouts uniform playing with these kids under a gazebo.
He probably works there.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure he does, but I did leave. I did not perform that gig. Because I was just like, this is low. Like, I think this is a low point now. If I play the show, it's low. But yeah, I think it was worse than that. But we can get into that maybe. We had a gig last night as well in Southampton. I thought went really well.
Really
good. It was a cool venue.
Really enjoyable gig.
It's quite funny because it's one of those venues you walk in and it's not like an overwhelming venue. You don't go in.
But those are always the best. It's like it's a bit grubby. It's a bit grotty. But I mean, like that's kind of what you want.
Yeah. Sound engineer was great, which makes a big difference. All of the pre-coms were good, apart from Sean, who listens to this, was late to the sound check, so we just jiggled things around.
I feel like you're allowed to be late to your own gig.
It's rock and roll, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
but Lana Del Rey did it at Glastonbury. She was 15 minutes late.
I might bloody burn it.
They had to pull the plug because obviously the curfew.
What? Kill her?
No, no. They just pulled the plug on the mic.
That's fine. I've said to sound engineers before to do that to us if we go over. But so that was a great gig. And then I think we need to talk about the week last week. So we filmed this podcast on Saturday morning, and then we played a gig later that day, which I think is important context for at least one person that listens to the show, because they were then at the gig. So they might have then watched the podcast and been like, why didn't they speak about yesterday? Just a time issue. But we played a gig, and it was, I think, a great example for musicians and for venues and promoters as to just how not to throw a show.
Yeah, just zero organization, really. I mean, I feel like when you send out emails to bands, right, if you're a venue, and you're like, okay, this is the specifics, what we need from you. We need to know this so that we can put on a show or whatever, right? And then you then respond to that email being like, okay, that's cool, but you actually haven't given the detail in your email. And it was quite a passive-aggressive email anyway. Which immediately it was like, what the fuck are these dickheads talking about?
Yeah.
It already put you in a sort of a weird place where it was like there were red flags straight from the start.
Just to dig into that quickly, is the problem with it is most of the time the email is, how should we make the show work? So it's like, what do you need? What do we need? And you exchange information. So from us, we'll be like, this is the tech we need. What tech do you have? That's how it goes. So it's like a facilitation. It's about planning and organizing.
Well, and it's also just another layer to that. It's like we can bring everything we need, right?
Yeah.
We're a versatile band. We've got everything we need to put on a show, right? But the problem is that it's not always convenient. So sometimes, if there's a full drum kit, for example, that the venue have, and you just need to bring breakables or whatever it is. Sometimes they might have good house amps that you can use.
Yeah,
that's one thing less that you have to bring with you, especially when you're doing gigs that, let's say, sometimes are free gigs as well, right? It's not convenient for you to lug all of your equipment to a place somewhere if you don't need to.
Yeah.
So that's the whole point of these communications, is to establish what do we need? What is
going to be there?
What do we need? What do you have? What can we use? What's the easiest way to do this? And when those emails go back and forth, and then you're like, okay, cool. What amps do you have? And they're like, oh, these are the amps we've got. And we're like, that's great. We'll use those amps. One less thing to sort of bring.
Yeah.
And then when you get there, and you're setting up to do your sound check, and the sound engineer is like, where's your amps?
Yeah.
We're like, what are you talking about? We're
we've
using your amps.
Not bringing amps.
Yeah. We've communicated. We're using the house amps, and he's like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
And we're like,
I think he said, well, it's probably important to tell me that then. And and we were like, yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We did. We multiple emails. We did. So. Yeah, that was annoying.
So straight away,
we get told off. He was really shitty.
And then he also started begging the other bands if we could use their equipment, and I'm like, well, now I feel like a little child that hasn't brought my PE kit into school with me, right? He's making this out like it's our fault. Where it's like we've got these email threads where we've gone back and forth to arrange everything, and it's like, this is a free gig, and it's not belittling free gigs or whatever. Some free gigs are worth your time, right? But at the end of the day, it's a free gig, right? But we've then communicated to make sure we've got everything all sorted. And then we get there and we're sort of like what is happening? And then he brings out, he's like, well, I'm not bringing out
I'm not lugging out
the big amps. And then he comes out with these two
15 watt
practice amps.
Which, again, and I said to him, because he was like, well, there are going to be plenty. He mics up the amps, so volume's not the problem. The problem
because that was the thing he said to me was like, I promise you they'll be loud enough. And I was like, I'm not worried about the volume. They're mic'd. Do you know what I mean? It's a mic'd gig. I'm not worried about the volume. I'm worried about the sound coming out of these practice amps.
Yeah.
And it wasn't good. It wasn't good. It was awful.
The other, so and then with mine as well, it halfway through, my guitar just cut out, and I don't know if it was an amp problem, but when it came back on, it then had like a flange effect on it, so it sounded terrible. I turned the flange off, and it just stayed. So my guitar sounded horrific the entire set. I snapped the string, which that's just on me. I do that a lot. But one of the bands had a spare guitar, so they lent me the guitar. I think there were a couple good things to come from it.
Well, I was just saying
one of them was
the other bad thing as well, right? Is essentially this venue is like under a car park. It's a really weird setup, right?
Yeah.
But it means that like it's the first thing I noticed was I walked in is the ceiling is like that like what's the I don't even know how to describe it.
I don't know. Corrugated?
Yeah, that's the word I had in my head. So we'll go corrugated, but it's basically just concrete squares. Like it's really weird. But the sound just bounced around like crazy. You couldn't hear anything. It was so bad. And the sound engineer was like, "Oh, when we're doing a sound check," he was like, "Yeah, it's hard to balance because obviously right now it's super open and echoey. But when this venue is full, it's a completely different sound." And then I was like, "Well, what?
Yeah.
What's the point of doing a sound check then?
Yeah.
What's the point? What's the point of getting a sound check done now if you're saying, oh yeah, the acoustics are so different when it's full?" But I'm like, I'm looking at the ceiling and I'm just like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's bad. The sound.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't hear any of it. That sound check was like the most useless sound check ever.
Yeah, well,
because as soon as we started playing, I was like, I can't hear any vocals. No. I can't hear my guitar.
And it's also like with the reverb you're talking about in the room, it's just such a wall of sound. It's very overwhelming. I get like almost like anxiety, and it really messes with my head to play in that dynamic. We've only done it twice. One was in Sheffield, and then that gig in Bracknell.
Well, here's the thing, right? When I come in with my backing vocals, right, there's always a chance that I'm singing in the wrong key. And I like to be able to hear that as quick as possible.
Yeah, sure.
So that I can, I can make a quick adjustment. You don't want to be playing
and 15 seconds later you hear you're out of key. You're
exactly.
like, oh god.
Yeah.
No, so I don't know. It's one of those. What's really interesting is we met one of the submissions we've had, and they've commented loads. We've had back and forth with them. Really lovely guy. That's the band The Hiker.
Yeah, and I apologise because I didn't know what was happening at first. I just thought there's a crazy guy who seems to know who I am.
Yeah.
And I got a bit scared.
We walked past as we were going out, and we were a little bit like, just to be honest, we were really in our heads anyway. We were having a
bad day. We'd had a bad
terrible
day
time at the gig.
Yeah.
We had the sound engineer and the manager of the place was just a twat to us, like so rude. And then he kept coming into like the backstage.
He kept trying
room,
to prove that it was our fault.
And he came in with the email. He came in with the email being like, "Well, I see what's happened here. Actually, look, it actually sounds like you're talking about drums." And then the singer of one of the other support acts,
great band,
they were phenomenal. But he was like, he got out the emails and was like, he's talking about an email that says specifically the sentence says, "Oh, that's fine. We'll use your amps." And he showed that as proof as to so. But again, even if it was on us, right, which it fucking wasn't, and I think they've acknowledged that now. But even if it was, why after the confrontations happened and we've sorted it, as in you've just given us shit sound now, why are you now coming in the dressing room and confronting all of the artists? Like, why is it that important for you to be like, I need to be in the right here? And I think that was the problem. That was the issue from the first email we got, was the attitude wasn't, how do we make sure the night goes well and how do we make sure everyone has a good time? It was really negative to bands. And we got that from the email all the way into going there and the sound engineer and the people that are working there, and they're like, oh, you get one small bottle of water to take on stage.
We
like, so we can't even have multiple...
That, yeah.
Like, we couldn't have 2 bottles of water, for example.
No, and specifically, they're like, you can't bring any drinks in with you.
You can't
like, not even soft drinks. So they wouldn't let you bring a bottle of water into the venue with you. And I'm like, this is a joke. This is stupid.
Yeah, like...
And their reasoning was because, well, otherwise people will fill it with vodka or whatever. And I'm like, you haven't searched my bags.
Yeah.
Like, I could have, like... 5 liters of vodka in my guitar case or something. Like, what are we doing here?
And then and then there was more that was like, all of the pre-organisation we had was pointless. They asked us to do a 45-minute set, and then we turn up and have sound checked, and it's like 20 minutes before we go on, and we have the organizer like,
Oh, yeah, and it actually needs to be 30 minutes.
Yeah, they came in and went, how long out of interest, how long's your set? And I was like, you've asked us to do 45 minutes. And she was like, see, it's a bit tricky because, and then she kept going on, and I was just like, right, what's happening here is you've asked us to do 45, we've prepared 45, we're on in like 30 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever it is. Our set is on stage now. Whatever you need us to do, just tell us what to do. But when you're going back and be like, oh, well, we've said to this band they can do an hour and 15, and it's like, this isn't our problem. So, like, I don't know, there's such a weird culture where what should happen is, and we played tons of venues that are really good to go, thank you, you're putting on a night. So they'll pay money. If you need to bring extra equipment, they'll pay for that. They'll get you drinks. They'll sort you out. And you feel the gratitude to what you're doing. And that's how it should be. When you're playing and you're grinding, you're playing all of these shows, sometimes they'll be good, sometimes they'll be bad. But all it needs to happen is that there just needs to be that respect, a level of respect to go, okay, thank you for coming in. We're going to take care of you. Instead of it being like, you're the problem here. You're an issue. And we're just like a burden to the venue. When we were having that discussion, and I think I very sincerely said to her, do you tell us whatever you need? If you want us to do 45, we'll do 45. If you want us to do 30 minutes, we'll do 30 minutes. If you want us to leave, we'll go home. Like, genuinely, I'll pack up my guitar and amp.
Especially because we were saying as well, we were saying, like, if we had known all of this beforehand, right, if we'd known what a hassle it was going to be, and obviously if we'd known it would just be a 30-minute gig as well, we might not have done it.
Yeah.
And it's not like an ego thing. It's just a kind of like, well, this isn't our first like job. We're not full-time musicians, right? So we have lives outside of this. And I was like, you know, you've got a family and stuff, and I'm sure like you would rather weigh up doing a poxy 30-minute gig for free with all of these crazy restrictions and stuff, right? Or just spend the evening at home,
for sure,
right? Instead of wasting literally like 5 hours of your day.
Yeah,
it's like
100%.
That's what weighs up. So it's like you gotta treat artists a little bit better than that.
I think the other point is as well is when I was in a band like 12, 13 years ago, we had a 30-minute set, so that was fine. If people said 45, we were like, fuck, here comes some Arctic Monkeys. But now we have a 45-minute set. And we've rehearsed the shit out of it. We've been playing this, like, we've got this set now, and it's the amalgamation of 2 years of work to get this set that we have.
Well,
now.
Well, we're in this situation now where it's like we could accept a gig for tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it's fine.
We'd be like, cool.
We don't need to.
Well, actually, I probably wouldn't because I lost my voice yesterday.
We're going to talk about that as well, man. It was embarrassing.
We'll do Bracknell first.
It was tough.
Which I think we said we were. One thing, so we end up playing the show. We had met Ian, the hiker, and that was really cool.
Yeah, great guy.
You know, he's putting together his project. We've listened to the recordings that were brilliant. I think he's just trying to get the band.
Yeah, I hope he finds the bassist.
Yeah, we've been there ourselves. But so we play this show and it was just, again, we've said the biggest bit of advice to bands is make sure shit is worth doing. And if you get a red flag from something, because we said immediately, we got the first email and the second email. We were like,
my initial reaction was like, I don't think we should play this gig.
Well,
just based off that initial email, because it was so passive aggressive that I was just like, this is the first communication we've had from this venue.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? Like, all of the, like, you know, you can't do this, or we need to know this. And they're like, please be precise with what your requirements are. And it's like, they weren't even precise with the equipment they had.
But also, and then we were precise, and it was all ignored. Every single bit we had was ignored.
And it's a shame, because it just means that, like, I mean, like, we won't ever go back to that venue.
No, not at all. It would never be worth it. I want to give the positive we had... was, and I want to make sure I get the name right. That's because I'm between two names currently. Tribal Jury were on after us, thankfully.
Yeah, I didn't want to follow them. They were awesome.
Were fucking awesome. But also, when you're gigging, and it was really funny, we were speaking to them like, yeah, this is like our fourth gig, so we're piecing it together. And then they went on stage, and you're like, well, how is it your fourth gig? It was so
I will say, it's even worse, the fact that, like, we had these little stupid amps.
Yeah, well, they have their full equipment. But no, I would give a shout out to Tribal Jury. They're a fairly local band, but they're amazing. A lot rockier than we are. A lot more showmanship on stage. and great guys as well. When you're gigging, one of the coolest things ever is to sit in a green room and have a chat and talk about your projects. And I think maybe we were brought together a little bit because they I think, I don't want to speak on behalf of them, but they definitely shared a lot of the frustrations we had. They really felt as well. I've messaged back and forth since that gig, and they kind of, I was like, okay, yeah, that gig is in the same place of their mind than it is for us, which is, okay, let's archive that one. Let's make sure we learn from it so it doesn't happen again. The one thing I want to end on, though, is to be as fair as possible, because it all stemmed from some breakdowns in communication. There was a bit of an attitude issue. There was a bit of a culture issue for a venue. I have had conversations after with the promoter, the venue itself, and they were very. They wanted the feedback. They asked a lot of follow-up questions as well to be like, we really want to make sure we are getting it right. So there was a fairness to the post communication. And they kind of said they were aware of some issues. They wanted to change it where bands can have drinks and they can make it a bit nicer, because, okay, the actual venue room is not good because the sound is terrible.
The sound is horrible. I don't know what you can do about that. But I mean, they're in a car park. You
go to a venue and it has a green room and you can sit with but that's a great thing to do. So they've got a lot of potential.
What I'll say as well is that, like, I hope they do sort of like change their attitude a little bit, because like they kept trying to fall back on the fact that it's like a community run thing, and it's like they have a lot of volunteers working there and stuff like that, and it's like whatever, right? But the fact is, right, is that if your venue is good and fun to play, right, then bands will bring people into your venue to spend money.
Yeah.
Like they'll make sure that when they come to you, they'll bring 10, 15, 20 people or whatever. All of a sudden, that's 20 people that are going to spend like 20 quid, 30 quid maybe in the bar.
Yeah.
Right? It's in your best interest to make your venue a fun place to play. A good place to play. You have to come out of that, and bands being like, that was sick, that was really good, I'd definitely come back here, because they'll keep bringing people into your venue.
There was
when you have their setup they've got where they're passive aggressive from the outset, they're like, they don't like, they're like almost like, I don't know, like a tyrannical government in terms of like, you can't bring any soft drinks in with you at all. I'm not saying you have to give alcohol to bands, right? But just literally say you can't bring anything in with you, and we'll give you one bottle of water per band, even though you're there per person. Even though you're there from like 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock until 10.
Yeah.
Right. I just think that's real low. Like, and that's even without all of the communication and the disorganization and the faff.
I think, and that was one of the points that was made at the bar. They were like, well, because this is community run and all of the finance part of it, they were like, we're relying on, we need to make the money from the drinks and things like that. And I'm like, okay, so your drinks money, you're saying, is what's keeping you afloat. Newsflash, you're a venue. Your fucking bands are keeping you afloat.
Yeah, because and what I'll say as well, this isn't the kind of venue that is like, oh, I'm just popping to here for a pint.
No, people will.
It's exclusively a music venue.
100%.
Like, you're talking
the location of it.
The whole thing is a stage and a dance floor and a bar.
Yeah,
that is literally it. So the only thing that's keeping them afloat are bands and people bringing people into the pub.
Yeah.
So they need to sort their attitude out. Otherwise, their community-run business or whatever won't exist in a year's time.
Well, at least 2/3 of that bill won't come back now. And when we put out that we were playing it, I did get messages from other musicians being like, "Oh, okay, you need to."
Other people have also been there and been like, "That's not a great place to play."
They kind of felt the same thing. They felt the culture. They felt the attitude. Obviously, the sound as well. So it's tough. And then they'll stand there and be like, "Yeah, it's been really tough, and we're struggling." But it's like, there are lots of venues that aren't. There are lots of venues that are thriving now because people want to go out and see live music. But if you treat your bands like they're pricks, then they're not going to come back.
But we've spoken way too long about this. On the flip side, we did a gig last night.
A great gig last night
with a friend of the channel, Sean, who's in Sculpt. He's headlining. Was his first headlining?
No, I don't think so.
No, maybe not. I don't know.
Because they're putting on shows.
They're putting on shows. And it was a great night, great venue. And to emphasize, we didn't have a rider. We weren't given free alcohol or anything like
No.
that. It was just a good venue, good sound engineer, good vibe.
We said early doors, so we were like, we're going to enjoy this.
Yeah, it was good. And all of the acts were great. I mean, Sculpts absolutely smashed it out the back doors. They were super good, super tight as well. You know.
Yeah.
And even with a few technical problems here and there, it was a good night. Then the other band as well, Sourdough, bit more heavy, and I'd say kind of like a little bit, I don't know how to describe it. It was good, but I think there was a few technical issues that I think we've spoken about with other bands before, which is like sometimes they crank everything up to 11, and then when they're performing, it's just a wall of noise.
Yeah.
Like there's no kind of like
way too.
I feel like there's a point where all of songwriting kind of goes out the window a little bit. You lose it because it's like there's no layers now. It's just noise.
They played their first song and it was like
it's phenomenal.
The first song they played, it was like Arctic Monkeys vocals, maybe like not Foo Fighters, a bit heavier than Foo Fighters, like maybe Rage Against the Machine or something, like a heavy rock behind this Arctic Monkeys vocals, and I was like, this is awesome. And then we went round, but then from there the rest was. Like I genuinely, it was like a panic attack inducing because there was so much coming forward, as you say, this wall of sound. And sometimes a wall of sound is good.
So I think
it's like a production.
So
thing,
I think the problem is is that I think like their act, if it was like performed in like an arena, right, or like outside at like some sort of festival and like maybe like a side stage at Isle of Wight Festival or something, I think it would sound fine. Mm-hmm. But when you're in a club, it was just too much. It's way too much.
I think it's a temptation to be loud. The temptation is we're rocking, so I need to be loud. When actually for me, and it was one of the biggest learns I had going like doing the grind and doing gigs, is you need to be not loud. You need control on your sound, and then the sound engineer can do what he needs to do. Because the sound engineer was really good. I thought he did a great job. But yeah, I don't know what happened with that. Maybe I just freaked out a little bit.
Yeah. And then I also just wanted... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No.
I just wanted to, as well, shout out Chloe May. She was great.
Chloe May
Phenomenal.
Rice.
Yeah.
I spoke to her... It was so interesting because she's a professional singer. She does cruise ship. She does, covers. So she did a lot of covers, but she played an original
song. Original songs.
Yeah, but the first one she played was fucking insane.
Yeah,
it was
really
like
good.
Such a high level of songwriting. The performance was amazing. So I said to her, I was like, if you're playing this show, if you play this again, right, or you come and support us.
All originals.
Yeah, don't
all
play
originals.
House of the
Don't get me wrong, right? Don't get me wrong. No,
so
here's the thing, right? Having like a cover in is fine, I think. Like
it can be.
Sculpt did a cover, right?
Yeah.
Of Man Down Under. What's that called? Is it Down Under? Down Under.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Great. Right. In between their original set.
Yeah,
I think that's
works.
fine.
That works.
It works. I think she probably. I would say keep that House of the Rising Sun because I liked it. It was a good cover.
Yeah.
But like my reaction through all of the cover songs was just like, yeah, this is good, but I mean, it's just like
this is what
what you can see anywhere.
Yeah.
You walk into like any like music place, like. I mean, in Southampton, you could probably walk into about 5 other establishments on that night and see the exact same sort of act, right? People just covering, and it's a good cover. But then when she played her originals, I was like, oh, fuck, this is so good. And that's, I've always thought that, like, I don't really enjoy cover bands too much.
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather walk into somewhere and see someone playing original music. Because you might like it, you might not like it, but it's just something new, it's different.
Yeah, completely agree.
But yeah, her originals were phenomenal. Her vocals, top notch, amazing. Great control.
You can tell she's practice in.
She's a professional singer or whatever.
She was like when needed, she would sing through a smile, which is a thing that I kind of learned when recording. The producers would be like, "This line you need to sing for a smile," and
apparently you can hear a smile.
Yeah. Or like you'll hear a difference. I don't know, but no, she was. It was quite funny because I was speaking to her, and that was the feedback I gave. I was like, "You just need to play your own songs."
Let's see if it's all right. Close your eyes. Right,
okay.
I'm going to say something, and you're going to tell me if I'm smiling or not smiling.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, my eyes are closed.
I'm very happy right now.
Smiling.
Oh, okay. That was good. Okay, what about now, right?
Okay.
I'm really not happy.
Smiling.
Oh!
I feel like I
he's
can
on a
hear your
roll.
lips, though. I feel like this is ASMR.
No, wait.
I don't
Okay,
know.
what about... Okay, wait. Okay. I'm really happy.
Oh, right. So you're doing something with your mouth. It's not a smile, though. Are you like down? I'm really. It's that, isn't it?
Yeah. I was like,
down.
oh, really?
I could hear your mouth was weird.
Okay, what
but
about this one? Okay.
Okay.
This is the happiest I've ever been.
Normal. Absolutely normal.
Oh, so you can hear a
definitely
smile.
Easily tell. Right. Okay. Well, there's that. That was 2 minutes. But no, it was funny. I was speaking to her, and I gave that feedback. I was like, just do originals. They're amazing. Have confidence in that. And in this environment, people just want originals.
Yeah.
That's all they
sure,
want.
Yeah.
And as you say, I mean, we're about to go into the rehearsal studio to put a cover into our set.
Yeah.
So if we play an hour, we'll put a cover. But it's because we're going to make it our own. We're going to have a lot of fun. And we're going to, you know what, it's not just us playing a cover. So, and she was like, oh, okay, so original is great. The covers were shit. And I was like, no.
No, they were still great, but it's just on this level of like...
This is it. A great cover of a song is just a great cover of a song.
Yeah.
And you can do a great cover of a song, and so can hundreds of thousands of other people, right? But you writing... The song was called My Starry Night, and I don't know why I'm shouting out, because she told me it's the one she hasn't recorded yet, which I was like, that's great, because I was listening to it, and I was like, I could hear it bigger. I could hear an Ingrid Michaelson back in. Like, you know what I mean? I could hear these pieces, but it was so good. But then Sculpt, who we've played twice now, and are such an interesting band, because we obviously know Sean, like, go a long way back with Sean, and we've watched him start a project, right? And I gigged with him, one of his first ever gigs, an acoustic show, and went down. And I remember he was like, I think he said at the time, he's like, I shouldn't headline above you. And I was like, nah, you did great. He was good. If he has that reservation now, he needs to throw it out the window, because he absolutely
smashed it.
He was a perfect headliner. I thought they were great. I thought the sound was phenomenal. The show was good. Like, it was a fun show to watch, but it was like, it's really not patting your mate on the back.
Well, do you know what Sean has got as well, which is like, you can't really teach it or anything or learn it. Yeah. No, he's just got great stage presence.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's something you just either have or you don't have.
He's very likable.
Like, yeah.
Unlike the lead singer of the night. No, I'm kidding. No, but yeah, it was really, really good. I am excited to continue to gig with them, and maybe ride on their coattails, because I think they've got big things coming, I reckon. It's weird because he's at that point of like ridiculously quick evolution. So your project,
that's a good band name.
Ridiculously Quick Evolution.
Mm-hmm.
RQE.
Yeah.
I don't know. But no, I think he's at that point where the first recording he does, you can hear it's the first recording. And then he releases another one and it's better and it's better and it's better. The problem is now, I think their live sound has got to a point where it's like, this is good. Like, they're doing what we're trying to do of reviving that indie rock sound from like 10, 15 years ago. Now I think they may end up needing to re-record because what they've got for their live sound, I think, is now even better than their recordings too.
Yeah, I think it's something that we've spoken about before, because we were obviously playing shows way before we recorded anything.
Yeah.
And there's one recording actually that happened a while ago. And different bands operate in different ways, but I feel like because of us playing the songs live before they're recorded, they've changed so much from when it first happened. And I think it's because sometimes you can play stuff in rehearsals and you go, yeah, that sounds great. But then you play it live and something doesn't sort of connect.
Yeah, for sure.
And you're like, it's not quite right there. Or sometimes, like, it's happened where I've played something completely different, like just random, like at a gig, and you're like,
yeah,
that was awesome.
Yeah, we have to keep
like
it.
That was great. Like, what made you do that? And it's normally I've made a mistake and I'm trying to hide it.
Yeah, I got lost.
And then yeah. I'm trying to play something that fits because I don't know where I am. And then it's like, that was awesome. Why haven't you done that before? And I'm like, oh yeah, no, I just came up. I just came up with it on the night. Yeah, I just felt it in me.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think they need to go through that now and do what we did, which our recordings were all live, and then we just did the vocals afterwards.
Yeah, I feel like some of the recordings that we've got in the bank, when I compare them to how we play it live now, I'm like, they're awful.
Oh, yeah.
They're
bad. If you go onto our Spotify, so our band's called 2006. That's the plug I'll do.
Is that the first time we've plugged our own band?
We might have said the name before. I'm not sure.
Because I've always been careful. I don't want this to become like a 2006.
Yeah, exactly. It's not at all. But if you go onto our Spotify, there's 3 recordings, right? There's Better Things to Come, which was like months into the band, we recorded it live.
Please don't listen to it.
It's bad. Like if you listen to it, we think it's bad.
We need to get that sucker down.
I think what we need to do is just re-record it the same way we're recording the other ones.
Yeah.
But then for me, I think, do we do that when we go, let's make an album, and then we can just take down the EP and the singles and all of that, and then just have an album up?
Yeah.
I think that would be the move. And then we have My Kind of Girl, which we overproduced, so that ended up having like brass and
yeah, too much.
And now I listen to it and I'm like, this isn't it. This doesn't sound good at all. And then we had a Fade to Grey acoustic track as a B-side, which is fine, but it's an acoustic. It's what is every acoustic track you ever hear as a B-side. So I think we're so excited to
we're
get
talking about us too
music
much.
out.
I don't like it.
That's fine.
It's making me.
All of the bands out there, it's very relatable though. Let's move on. You got news?
Not a lot has happened. I've been scraping the bottom of the barrel, right? So I'll bash out some stuff. Obviously, you mentioned that Madonna was ill, right? She had to pull out.
Yeah.
Went to hospital. Apparently, I don't really know what happened. She had some sort of infection, I think.
Yeah.
She's on the mend. Looks like she's going to be fine, right? Little update there. And then I wanted to mention Ozzy Osbourne. Mm-hmm. So I froze because
Izzy.
How did you know?
No, I looked down and I was like, is he about to talk about Izzy Exalia or whatever?
No. Ozzy Osbourne was pulled out of the Power Trip Festival over health concerns, right?
Right.
And it made me, my immediate thought was like, I don't know how that fucker's still alive.
No.
I mean, I think it's a miracle he got past 30.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
he's
I
crazy.
mean, he's dribbled his way through a rock career.
He's so funny.
Like, I don't understand. I hope he's okay and everything, but it's just like, I think every day that he wakes up is like a bonus.
I bet he hurts. I bet he wakes up and he's like, oh fuck, Sharon.
I mean, is there anyone alive that has taken more drugs than Ozzy Osbourne?
Probably not.
Or eaten as many bats?
Definitely not.
Hey, I think he might have started COVID.
Oh,
you might have to blank out COVID.
That's fine. Is it
Twice.
fine?
I don't know. YouTube is an enigma. I don't know what you can. I can't say.
We'll be fine. I'll put it out. We'll see.
I reckon he might have started it.
Yeah. So we need to check his passport stamps. He been to Wuhan? That might be a problem. Because is that now just a conspiracy theory that we're starting?
It's not even a conspiracy theory.
Now we are.
Now we're getting on to
Ozzy Osbourne.
Now we're getting on to the coof stuff, but we can't be doing that.
Sharon, this bat tastes weird.
But I just thought it was funny. It was just funny. Like, I don't know how he's alive. He's doing a great job. I hope he's fine. And then another cancellation. This one's weird. So Noel Gallagher's band, the High Flying Birds.
Yeah.
Right. They had to pull out of their show on the night after the 2 support acts had finished because of a bomb scare.
Oh, jeez.
That sucks, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Bit weird. But they evacuated everyone out. Put the canine dogs in there.
Where was it? Where did you say it was?
I'm imagining America, but I don't actually know.
Why are you imagining America? The last concert bomb scare was in the UK.
Yeah, what, a bomb scare?
Well, not no.
No, it was an actual bomb, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought it was weird. I
was just worrying because obviously it's Noel Gallagher as well. I was like, is that Manchester? Because if so,
no, I don't. I don't know. But then the final bit of news, right? It's not really news, right? I just saw it and it's crazy, right?
Yeah.
You might have to look it up on her Twitter, right? But Britney Spears,
oh god,
right? I'm worried about her. I'm worried about Britney Spears.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So I don't think she's like abducted or not a real person or anything, right? She's just releasing a memoir, right?
She's not written a memoir.
She had. Well, I don't know.
No,
she hasn't written it. She's ghost written.
No, I bet not even that. Okay, what's the problem? What's the issue?
So on her Twitter, there's an announcement video, right?
Are you ready?
So maybe go below that, right?
What? What am I looking at?
This is a video, right, that she's released announcing an announcement, right?
Oh, this is great.
For tomorrow.
Can we?
Right? But I don't know what's happening in the video, B. Right? It's crazy. But I don't know if we can actually show it. Honestly, I don't know.
I think.
Right?
Can we?
I don't know.
Why
She's
wouldn't we be
she's
able
dancing
to?
around her kitchen in her underwear, and some of the stuff she
No, she's
does.
not.
Oh.
Oh.
What video were you looking at?
There was a more recent video. What the fuck is going on?
Right?
She looks like a.
Like, I don't want to be cruel because I don't know what's going through her head, right? She's been through a lot, right? But this is an announcement, right? For an announcement.
Wait, yeah, but then I think I saw, because I thought I was with you,
right?
But then there's other ones above.
So she's dancing around her kitchen or something in her underwear, right? And it's like, I don't know how to describe. It's like a middle-aged woman, right? Imagine like a blonde middle-aged woman who has had a couple of martinis, right? And someone has been like, you know, it'd be really cool if we do like a sexy dance,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
But they can't dance.
Yeah,
and it's the cringiest thing I think I've ever seen.
So what,
right? But then also, I don't know. But my point is, right, is that like, I thought she could dance. This Britney Spears.
Also, I don't. I'm just.
It makes me uncomfortable. It makes me uncomfortable. But then also, look at the dog.
Yeah.
The dog is like, what are you doing?
He looks like, do you know you get dogs to alert you when you're having like a medical episode? He looks like he's about to booper. I mean, all right, you need to get your EpiPen.
Or he's like, well, I don't know if it's a medical episode.
Right, we're going to show it. Doesn't she? Is it just a camera angle? She looks like a little person.
I don't know. It's so weird. But this is her announcing that there's an announcement happening.
Coming tomorrow. I'm so excited. But then I got confused because there are videos up here. Look, what's this?
Yeah, this is her
so
just
you guys
talking.
Better like it, and if you don't, that's cool too. Jamaica. Ooh, I want to take you to Bermuda, Bahama. Come on, pretty mama. I'm out of here. So, bye guys. Hope you like the book.
I'm worried about Britney Spears, and I'm also worried about her fans.
Too much.
Okay, guys, so my book is coming out very, very soon. I worked my ass off for this book. I had a lot of therapy.
Who's that breathing?
Done, so
Who's that breathing, B, in the background?
That's fine too. Either way,
wait.
I'm going to.
Wait.
Bahama, come on, pretty mama. Yeah, go, my G-go. Baby, why don't we go to my Iga? Coco, my casa.
Too much.
It's so true though. It was too much.
But why was he breathing like that?
I don't know. I reckon he was losing his erection.
She came back on with the sunnies and he was like, well, it's gone. Too much.
What was it breathing? There's so much to unpack there. Too much.
Oh man.
Oh my god.
Well, it's Britney. What a
like there's
shame.
Okay, in my head, right? He's holding the camera, right? And like with his left hand, and in his right hand is one of two things. Right?
Okay, can you not say one of them?
One of them is a gluck 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 gluck.
Right. Okay.
Right, and the other one is his cock.
Yeah. There's not much that makes you breathe like that.
I know, right?
Also, you're just holding the camera, right? Unless
is he
maybe,
breathing so much?
Maybe he choreographed the dance and he's showing her the moves. He's like,
I don't know.
That's too much.
I've not seen that video.
I think that's going to become part of my daily vocabulary again. Too much. That's a Britney reference.
But can you see I'm worried about Britney? Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know why you wouldn't edit it out. I don't know why you're breathing so much.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm a fat man.
Yeah, I breathe a lot.
Yeah, not like
I'm
that.
a big breather, but not just
I
filming
don't get out of breath just filming Britney
Spears.
Unless I've got my cock in my hand.
Yeah, that is too much. That is too much. He is right.
Well, that's the news.
Yeah, there we go.
That's the news.
I love that little Britney, and that's the thumbnail, isn't it? Britney.
It has
too
to
much.
be. It has to be.
Too much. Phenomenal. Should we listen to some music?
I'm starting to think that
something's going on, right?
I'm starting to think that when she was, I can't remember the word, when she was like in prison by her parents.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I'm starting to think
it might have been for the best.
She was better off.
Yeah, I don't know. Well,
I'm starting to think that was a safer environment.
They
for
may
her.
be a bit vindicated now to be like, we were just
Like,
we were looking out for
they're
her.
like, see,
yeah, she's mental.
yeah, she's gonna like.
Look, I hope she's happy. You know, she said that she's worked really hard on this book. Which,
Do you know what
I'm
I'm worried about? I haven't looked into this
therapy,
at all.
she
Right,
said.
I'm not a Britney Spears fan, right? But hasn't she got a kid?
Yeah, I think because
Where the bloody hell is?
Well, I
is the
think her
kid?
parents were looking after the kid and she didn't have access for a long time, but I don't know. I don't know. The documentary about that whole process, like her going to court and is really interesting. I think it shed a lot of light for me on it. I didn't understand the situation at all, and then watched that. I thought it was quite good. However, it may have been on it might have been on Discovery Plus, which I got, and they have some really, really bad documentaries in terms of like bias, and you're watching it and you're like, this isn't accurate at all, or they'll report on things, but like a lot of information comes out afterwards that they don't include to fit a narrative.
Yeah.
But anyway, should we listen to some music?
Yeah, mental health is a real issue.
Yeah, 100%. So I hope that, as she said, she's working through it. I hope she has, and I hope she's all good. But let's listen to some tunes. We're going up to Aberdeen. We're going to Casper Heyzeus. I'm sorry, Casper, for that accent. Casper Heyzeus from Aberdeen. Any guesses?
Is it bad if I say that I'd be upset if there's no bagpipes?
I think have you said that with every Scottish submission so far?
Have we had a Scottish submission?
I don't know.
I know. But Casper Heyzeus, that screams like that's like a rap, isn't it? Like
I
a
thought
rapper.
more like electronic.
Yeah, maybe.
Let's have a listen. This is Casper Heyzeus. We've actually got a YouTube video as well, so I'm going to share screen and jump onto that. This is Dance If You Wanna by Casper Heyzeus. We're going to listen to 30 seconds. Well, let's go.
It's all up to you, you can let yourself go. Dance if you wanna, dance if you wanna. It's all up to you, you can let yourself go. Dance if you wanna, dance if you wanna. It's all up to
I let it go a little long.
How much did they pay to get Amelia Westervers in there?
That's funny. That's really,
I like the sound. It's
cool.
like
It's
80s, yeah.
which is that's funny. Yeah, very 80s throwback. Really interesting. I think it's the time. It needed a timestamp maybe because the intro. I mean, the first 5 seconds.
Yeah, it wasted a little bit, but it was good.
It's
good. I don't know what that music video is from though.
I think they're just
What they
cutting
yawned? Yeah, just
different
clips, yeah.
80s films. So hopefully they don't get too big because that'll get taken down pretty quick. But it's cool. I like the thought of.
At first, there was a brief moment where I was like, "Man, the quality of this music video is incredible. They must have spent thousands,
tens of thousands,
tens of thousands."
And
then,
then it was like,
then I saw Amelia Westervers.
they've clipped this. That's really cool though. Casper Heyzeus. It didn't sound Scottish.
No, well,
No bagpipes.
yeah, there's no bagpipes. It's hard to, but that was great. It was great.
Did they have bagpipes in the 80s? Probably.
Yeah, I mean, bagpipes in like Braveheart.
Well, yeah, that film. When was that film? It's quite recent, isn't it? It's Mel Gibson. That's good stuff. Yeah, great submission. There's no feedback really.
No, it was just good.
Apart from like next time, just chuck a timestamp on so we
Yeah,
get a good chunk of 30 seconds. But yeah, awesome. I love this logo as well. Look, he's got PS1 logo.
Oh my god, he's flirting the line of copyright.
He's just like, someone please sue me.
Well, because I don't know, does that class as the law of parody? I don't know if it does. Because it's just a. Is it?
Yeah.
Well, no, I suppose.
decided.
Yeah, no, I suppose it does.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, no, I think you can. I think you can 100% just.
Also, can I give? It's the same feedback every time. I should just clip it and just paste it into the video, so I don't have to say it. But we have like the follow for follow on the Instagram.
Yeah. Follow for follow is a big.
At
issue.
the moment, you have 775 followers and 1,000 following. You need to unfollow 1,000 people, and then you'll have 83, and then you'll look legit as hell. But the sound is awesome. I thought it was really cool. Yeah, that's Casper Heyzeus. Next up is Bret Koontz. Koontz.
Interesting name.
From Chicago, Illinois.
Illinois.
Any
America.
guesses there?
Bret Koontz.
Bret Koontz.
It's so hard when it's just a name like that.
How about this? Koontz is Koontz though.
Oh, R&B.
It does chuck it that way, doesn't it?
But then the Bret is weird. But I'll go R&B.
Also, I've put Bret Koontz, but we're gonna listen to Into My Dream, and it's Bret Koontz and Truancy Club.
B, can I ask a question?
Yeah,
What does R&B stand for?
rhythm and blues.
Is it? I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea.
That's so funny. There we go. Yeah, because R&B, old R&B isn't R&B. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's
I feel like it
R&B
needs a
covers
new
lot.
name.
Yeah, there's not a lot of blues in R&B, is there? Now,
Sometimes not a lot of rhythm.
no, there's always a lot of rhythm, isn't it?
We'll just call it rhythm.
Yeah. This is Bret Koontz. Into My Dream.
Needs to be longer.
Take the old dog out for a walk. You fall on your knees.
Oh,
Yeah, I love that.
that is lovely stuff.
Really
is what
nice
that
chord
is.
progression at the end there as well.
Also, when something sounds really nice vocally, instrumentally, I always worry about what the vocals
Yeah,
will be.
because yeah.
And they came in, and it was
Well,
just
because
like,
I feel like there's, if you're in a rock band, right, you don't need to have the best vocals.
mhm.
Like you can get away with it as long as you can hold a tune and sing in the right key, right? You don't have to be amazing vocally, but when it's like an acoustic like that, and it sounds so crisp and clean, the vocals have to stack up.
Yeah,
And yeah, they were great. It fit perfectly.
that was a really cool sound. Really, really cool sound. I was just checking out their Instagram as well. So yeah, they can take the same feedback from the last one. I don't know why people do it.
Well, I know why, because it gets some followers, but it's just like it's not a real follow.
I think people get embarrassed to be like, I have 200 followers, right?
And yet,
people get embarrassed by that.
And yet, most bands that are sort of not doing, like, we've talked about success in the past, and there's different levels of success. But let's say bands that are playing paid gigs every other weekend, right, and they're doing pretty well, and they're making money.
Mhm.
Some of them will have less than 1,000 followers on Instagram,
Yeah.
but
All of them.
but
are
all of
followers.
them have followed because they're a fan of the band, not because you followed them.
Yeah. For
And
sure.
that means more. If you look at a page, you've got 900 followers and you're only following 2 people, it looks better.
Yeah, I completely agree. But the sound is amazing. So and look, if you've done it and you have a load of followers now, great. But you then just need to undo the bit that you've done on that to get them there. But no, I thought that was really, really cool. I'll have to remember to chuck these on the Spotify because both of them have been on YouTube. So I just need to go back. I'll go back after the episode's done and put them on the Spotify playlist so everyone can check those out. Shall we do the wheel?
Let's do the wheel.
Let's get the
wheel of free tunes.
Nah, take that, Sean. Okay, we're going to Ryan Mallany.
Mallany.
Ryan Mallany. Thoughts?
I don't know. But while you're looking up the band, because I don't know what to gauge yet, there is a bit of weird news, actually, I just remembered.
Okay.
Because obviously Lewis Capaldi is pulled out of Leeds and Reading. They've replaced Lewis Capaldi with our favourite band.
Royal Blood.
Nope. 1975.
Oh, okay. Well, Sean will be happy.
Yep.
With what? For where? Sorry, what?
Reading and Leeds.
Reading and Leeds.
Because
Okay.
Lewis Capaldi's obviously pulled out.
Oh, we would have done it.
Main stage. No thanks.
No, we need to buy some in-ear monitors
Yeah.
first. First, and
Let's build up
foremost.
to that sort of stuff.
Um.
Can you imagine going from like we just played like a little club?
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Very rude.
whoa.
Very rude of me. I'm so
now
sorry.
I'm not going to guess that it's rap.
It might still be rap. There was
Good
also
point,
a
like a bit
timestamp
of like
I
an
could check.
Eminem start to a rap song. Where are they from?
They're from Toronto.
Toronto.
You're like, I think it's going to start with an electric guitar.
Yeah. I think it'd be kind of a laid back electric guitar song.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. This is Time Bomb by Ryan Mallany.
What would make it right? This dance has only started. Can I make it through the night? Hello, little time bomb. Knocking on my door. Are you something that I've asked for?
Oh, I like it.
I like it.
lot.
Great vocals. Sounds like Sting.
Yeah. The stingy vocals.
Yeah,
They were just really fucking good.
it was good. But his vocals are Sting, just like
Yeah.
I want to hear him do a cover of like Roxanne or something.
Yeah. Well, if you pay him enough, it was really good. I thought I loved the call and response. I loved
Yeah.
the call and response broke off lyrically as well.
Do you know what I like as
That
well
was
though?
interesting.
With like a voice like his, quite powerful and quite gritty, quite grumbly voice.
Yeah.
It's easy to just always do something that's like really sort of like high octane and heavy.
Yeah. Sure.
But that like the contrast, the juxtaposition between the sort of quite like chilled and laid back sort of like instrumentational sort of like layering,
Yeah.
and then his like
It's the contrast.
like powerful, gritty, gruff like voice.
gruff.
I don't know what
Gruffalo.
gruff, but it just worked really well.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. It's that thing we always talk about, like dynamic range,
Yeah.
and you want a song to be varied, so it's interesting. That just ticked all the boxes. I thought that was
Good stuff. Good stuff,
bloody
old boy.
Cool. Thank you for the submission. That was on a SoundCloud. I don't even know if I'll get this on Spotify. So I'll have to maybe reach out. I'll have a little look. But that was Ryan Manley from Toronto. Yeah, good submissions. I feel like that whole list is just full of good indie bands. Like I feel like it's been a while since we've had one that's even had constructive feedback.
Yeah, but even not just like the indie bands as well though. Like I feel like every time we've had like a rap or an R&B song on there,
They're
it's
fucking
it's
so
always
good.
been really good.
Maybe I like it, but then
And
I've
it's like-
tried before.
I feel like the problem is I listen to like, well, I don't listen to, but if I'm ever randomly driving and I'm listening to the radio, which is rare, and I listen to what's in the charts now, it's just nonsense, like absolute crap. And then I go, well, I hate this genre of music.
Yeah, fair.
But then, like you say, some of the submissions we've had that are like R&B or rap or whatever, I'm like, this is fucking great.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
So I don't know. I just think it's that like oversaturated commercial crap that gets eaten up, and then it means actual talented bands like the ones we listen to are just
that
like
have like a
I
unique sound.
don't understand. I don't
Yeah.
understand how the world works.
Maybe it's just a type of rap as well.
Yeah, maybe.
Like I feel like the type of rap that we get, or at least we've listened to previously, have been like that almost like a 90s like Will Smith sound instead of
Maybe it just connects with us nostalgia
Yeah.
because like my rap is Eminem and Will Smith.
sure, yeah, which is the white rap.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
That's funny. No, thank you all of the bands for submissions. We always do appreciate it. It was really weird. It's been weird speaking to people outside of behind a computer about the podcast as well. That obviously happened last week.
Doesn't it make you feel like the biggest douchebag on
I
the planet
hated
as
it
well?
yesterday because it was like we were just hanging out with the bands. We were all talking
'Cause it's
music, and then it's always like it was Sean was like, "Oh, by the way, these guys have a podcast," and we're like, "Yeah."
Well, because I feel like there's a thing at the moment where people are like taking the piss out of how everyone has a podcast, right?
Yeah.
And there's part of me that I'm like, yeah, I know it's weird, right? But then the other part of me is that like we have a podcast, right? And we do it, but we do it just because it's fun, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Whatever. It doesn't really matter, right? But the moment that it then comes up outside of this podcast setting, I'm like, nah, I don't want anyone to know that I do a podcast. I don't talk about it. I've never ever uttered the words, oh yeah, well actually me and Rob was talking on the podcast last week.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't happen at all. Like I hate it. But I hope you enjoy it. It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing. Like I want people to like watch it and enjoy it, but then I also don't care if you don't watch it and don't enjoy it. I do care if you watch it, don't enjoy it, and then tell me about it. But only in the sense that I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, just don't comment. But yeah, it's a weird dynamic.
I think it's one of those as well. I've seen a couple clips come up on TikTok, and TikTok is showing me them because of the reason that it's the bro, we should totally have a podcast.
Yeah.
And it'll be two guys and they'll ask a question. It's like a dumb question that's gone around, but they're not comedians, so they don't have funny answers or anything like that. Whereas I think we're trying to fill a gap of like, if you're in a band and you want to get songs heard and you want feedback, that platform I don't see that platform in many places, if at all. When I was looking, you kind of there's radio stations we have locally, but even they're getting impacted by like a restructure. So I don't know. I think
also as well, right? We haven't really told people to like subscribe in ages.
Okay,
I just realised we haven't done it, but it's a bad time to do it at the end because like a lot of people might not have made it to the very end of the podcast, right? Which is like coming up in about a minute, right? But what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to scream subscribe now, and maybe you could just edit that and put it at the start.
Fine, I'll do that. But then what happens after now? Because you're going to scream that, and then that will move to the start.
Okay, and then so
then
you'll
on.
cut
Shall I cut some of the start and put it at the end? It'll be like a Christopher Nolan podcast.
Are you ready for it? Right.
Sure. You saying scream?
Yeah. Maybe get a
Yeah, fair.
subscribe now. Right. That could just go somewhere. Maybe not right at the front. Well, like
no, I like a jump scare.
Yeah, just after
reckon,
like maybe whatever.
I reckon.
And then now, like in place of that, yeah. So, hope you enjoyed the episode.
Yeah, it was a really. Thank you so much for listening, guys. We do appreciate it. If you drop a comment below, you can get your songs heard next week. And yeah, let us know if you have any feedback. Hit subscribe, as we told you at the start of the episode, to hit subscribe and like and all that good stuff.
Peace on the streets.
We will see you next week. It's a ciao.